Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review for March 20th, 2017. Now, I know there was not a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live review last week. That was because I was unable to actually be home to watch the show, so I didn't want to do a terrible attempt at one. So I just didn't review them. But this week, 2 weeks left before WrestleMania, Mick Foley opened the show after his attack on Triple H last week, and then Seth Rollins came to the rescue and got his ass kicked. Foley opened the show. He reads from a piece of paper and says that he likes to thank Triple H and Stephanie McMahon for the opportunity that he has been given. He apologizes for shoving Sacco in Triple H's mouth, and effective immediately, he is taking a leave of absence because it's what's best for WrestleMania. He then rips the paper and says he's been around for 31 years and Triple H has the audacity to give him paper to read from. And he says he's Mick frickin' Foley. And then his mic starts to cut out. Stephanie McMahon comes down and says that the reason he had the paper is because he screws literally everything up. She says he only cared about being liked. He doesn't care about what's best for business or anything like that. He doesn't care about anything besides being liked. She looks him in the face and says, "I've got 2 words for you. You're fired." He then attempts to leave the ring. Sami Zayn comes down and says that Stephanie has been wrong on many things, just like she's wrong right now about Mick Foley. Says Mick Foley has had more class in the 9 months as general manager than she has in her entire life. He says, well, Stephanie says that Sami Zayn is not on the level to say these things to her, let alone talk to her. And he tells him to go back to the locker room and think of a way to make it up to her. Sami says he's not leaving, and then Samoa Joe comes out, and Stephanie sets up a match between Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn. And right before it goes to commercial break, Sami Zayn flips over the ropes, taking out Samoa Joe. Joe started off very strong. He had power slam to Sami. Sami gets thrown out of the ring and just barely gets in at a 9 count. He clotheslines Samoa Joe, hits a crossbody, and he gets a 2 count. And then he hits the outside corner rope DDT thing where he slides to the rope. I don't know exactly what it's called, but he hit that. But it didn't work. Coquina clutch on Samoa Joe, from Samoa Joe, and Sami Zayn taps. Dana Brooke versus Charlotte. I did not get to see this match. It was a quick match, clearly, because I didn't get to see it, because I wasn't gone for that long. But, yeah, Charlotte won. Don't know how. Okay, Dana Brooke's not going to be at WrestleMania. I don't know if it was for that. I doubt it was. But if it was, she's definitely not going to be there. The highlight reel, where Chris Jericho is planning on exposing the real Kevin Owens. He shows a picture to everybody of Kevin Owens as a kid in a Y2J shirt with a Y2J poster, and I'm pretty sure there was a Chris Jericho action figure as well. He says Kevin Owens was a fan of Jericho, and he was marking out, man. Says that at Mania, he wants the face of Kevin Owens, and that face is when Chris Jericho's music hit at Fastlane, and Kevin Owens was shocked, surprised, and scared. He says he is Kevin Owens' hero, and that once his music hits at WrestleMania, he's going to go back to that scared little kid and understand that he got himself in something he probably should not be involved in. He calls him a stupid idiot. He asks the crowd, he asks, you know what happens when you betray Chris Jericho, right? He raises the pen up. Samoa Joe walks down. And Owens attacks from behind and hits a pop-up powerbomb on Chris Jericho and rips up the list of Jericho putting pieces of it in his mouth and spitting them out back to the floor. So Alyssa Jericho is dead. And Kevin Owens pop-up powerbomb to Chris Jericho. I assume Kevin Owens is going to win at WrestleMania. I assume so. I don't see why Chris Jericho wouldn't put over Kevin Owens. But, yeah, it was a pretty good segment. TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick. Not sure why this exactly happened, but TJ started off very strong with lots of face kicking. He hit a cross body, got a 2 count. He got Irish whipped into the corner where he almost ran into the ref. The ref and him then started to talk about he shouldn't be standing there, and he gets hit with a sliced bread number 2 and loses the match. TJ Perkins, the champion with the charisma from Southpaw Regional Wrestling, lost the match to Brian Kendrick because he was distracted by the ref. Bayley versus Nia Jax. This was the first of, actually second, because Zayn versus Joe was the first. This is the second of 3 times Stephanie decided to screw over people. And the reason she screwed over these specific people are because when Mick Foley was walking out, he hugged Sami Zayn, Cesaro and Sheamus, and Bayley. And then got face-to-face with Triple H. Triple H told him to have a nice day, and he went on his merry way. So Bayley had to fight against Nia Jax in a no DQ match, and if Nia won, she was put into the Women's Championship match at WrestleMania, making it a fatal 4-way. Obviously, Nia started off very strong. Bayley got thrown into the barricade, but she did hit a crossbody and got a 2 count. But then Nia hit a Samoan drop and won the match. It is now Charlotte versus Sasha versus Nia versus Bayley for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So both Women's Championship matches are 4+ people. I'm assuming SmackDown's going to be 4+ people because you got Becky, Carmella, Natalya, Mickie James. That's 4 right there. Plus Alexa. That's 5. If Naomi comes back, that's 6. They're supposedly talking to Kelly. That's 7. Asuka is rumored for it as well. That's 8. So we'll have to just see. Michael Cole has an in-ring interview with Triple H. Triple H says that the only reason Seth is missing Mania is because Seth decided to stop listening to Triple H and start listening to the fans. He says the fans have ruined almost anything. And he goes to say that they ruined Mick Foley. They're the reason he's got 1.5 ears. He's the reason he's got the limp and all of that. And then he says that Seth messed up when he left his crutch on the ground and attacked Triple H because he left the crutch there and he used it as a weapon because it only lasted 30 seconds. He says if Seth's the architect, then he's the one who gave him the blueprint to be successful. He says he made it too easy for Seth and that he was Seth's crutch. And he says that it was ironic that Seth's crutch picked up an actual crutch and beat the crap out of him with it. He says from this day forward, he's done with Seth Rollins, and then gives Michael Cole a card with WrestleMania tickets for Seth so he can actually be there and watch. Then he decides that there's probably a way that Seth Rollins can be there in a match because Seth Rollins wants to fight Triple H. Triple H wants to fight Seth Rollins. The fans want to see that, so why not make it a thing? And what he does is he announces that next week he will make a document for a no harm clause or something like that. I don't remember the exact term, but it's pretty much so that it's going to be an unsanctioned match, and Seth Rollins cannot sue if anything happens to his knee because he wants to fight Triple H so bad. And then tells Seth Rollins to show up next week and prove to the world that he really is Seth freaking Rollins. Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Club and Enzo and Cass. They have to win to keep their WrestleMania spot. The Club attack Enzo and Cass during their entrance, so it's pretty much a normal tag team match. And then Cass knocks Gallows off the apron, so Anderson has no one to tag in. Cesaro holds Anderson up for the Brogue Kick. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro and Sheamus are still in WrestleMania. Big boot to Gallows, air Enzo to Anderson. That whole segment took literally 2 minutes, I think. Austin Aries versus Tony Nese. Austin Aries says suicide dive, a missile dropkick, and the discus 5-arm. At least that's what they were calling it. For the win. Very nice. Neville came out and said that he's the king of the cruiserweights, and there's no way he's taking the title at WrestleMania. Austin said that he said something about their interview being the worst interview he's ever done professionally, and then they just talked about WrestleMania. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns started off strong, but he went for a drive-by, which was reversed into a clothesline. Roman gets hit with a spine buster. He gets kicked in the ribs, but somehow the Roman Reigns, I call him the Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns somehow manages to hit a Samoan drop on Braun Strowman. Gets a 2 count. He hits a drive-by. He gets thrown into the steps. He hits a Superman punch. He goes for a second Superman punch. Strowman catches him, throws him, reverses it into a slam. But then Braun Strowman gets hit with another Superman punch. He's going for the spear. The lights go out. Undertaker appears in the ring. They stare down. Undertaker chokeslams Braun Strowman. Strowman wins by DQ. But then as soon as he turns around, spear to the Undertaker. Roman leaves. Taker sits up and does his thumb across his throat and cuts it. It was pretty good. I'm pretty sure we all expected Undertaker to get involved in this match. I mean, it only made sense. I don't know why he didn't get involved at Fastlane to begin with. But yeah, Raw wasn't terrible. Wasn't too bad. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Like, don't know why we had TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick. Could have had something else. I don't know. That was really the only bad thing that could have changed. Maybe give Cesaro, Sheamus, the club, and Enzo and Cass more time, or give one of these other matches more time. But yeah, they did reference Paige. They did. The New Day had a segment where they were talking about their favorite matches for WrestleMania, and it started with Xavier in the middle, Big E and Kofi on both sides, and they're just looking at Xavier, and Xavier, he's just standing there, and they're like, "You got something you want to talk about?" And then he says WrestleMania, and they go into their thing. But obviously, they were referencing the Paige situation. So yeah, hopefully she comes back. It'd be pretty cool. I don't want to see her lose her job because it wasn't her fault. But yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about it. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow we have SmackDown Live. AJ Styles was fired, and now he has a match at WrestleMania. So, wonder what's going to happen next. Guess we'll have to tune in to find out. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Camp Guns Cody, and I'll see you guys next time. Toodles.